We're back
We are.
on the porch
In our royal robes.
in our royal robes.
It's cool enough today for them.
It is a dramatic change from last week.
I'm happy to be in mine.
And it actually kind of goes with our theme this week.
It does.
A little bit, because we're going to be talking about something difficult. And so sometimes just cozying up in a robe and being home can create comfort.
Yes.
And so we want to offer that as just kind of an intro to what we're talking about. Because last week we talked about nothing negative.
Yeah.
And it was really a perspective. And what we were hoping is this idea of shifting your perspective to hopefully grow more positive, like our pixie dust here.
Yeah. Well, I have a robe on every night when I eat my ice cream, and I know how good it feels, all cuddled up, ears and all. And this can help us with the subject we're going to talk about.
Yes. And what is it? Because it's not, you might think that our word of the week is robe.
No.
But it's not. What is our word this week?
It's loss. And we have to address it. It's present all around us.
Yes.
It's always in our lives, whether we want it or not.
Right.
And we just want to talk about it and let you know that we can do something about it.
Right.
We're all different, so what works for one person may not work for another.
Right. And I think we can help each other through it.
I think so.
Because we all live with loss at different times in our life. And
I know.
And certainly our world right now, if we think about west, the fires, out east, the floods and hurricanes, the pandemic everywhere, the social unrest, all of these things happening. There are a lot of people experiencing real loss.
Yes.
And that's something you can't sometimes just pick yourself out. Like last week we talked about the negative narrative and your perspective. And some of the reason that this word is actually related is because if you don't deal with your loss, you can often become bitter.
I know.
And become negative and create a negative narrative for your life. So we're hoping today to kind of share how we've dealt with the loss in our lives. Because as Mom said, everybody has loss. And I love this book. I'm actually going to talk about it. Living with Loss.
Oh, yes.
And I've given this, I bought like 20 copies. It's out of print now. By Dan Mosley, who was one of my seminary professors. And he said, because change is the fundamental nature of life, we will lose what we love, because we love what is not permanent. We love people. We love our jobs. We love created things. And they're gonna eventually all die. And so to deal with the loss and to learn to live with it is really, really important. And so we're going to go ahead and kind of share some stories.
We're all different too.
Right.
What works for Julie may not work for me.
Absolutely.
And don't get down on yourself if you're having a hard time. That's where friends and family can come in.
Absolutely.
Don't be afraid to show your feelings. Anyone who loves you is going to understand. I had a neighbor once, I'll never forget it. I lost something very precious, and I was crying, and I had a lot of children then too, and she said, "Oh, snap out of it. Get up and get going."
That's not helpful.
That did not help at all. And I thought, look, if you were walking in my shoes, I wouldn't say that to you. I'd put my arm around you and give you a big hug.
Absolutely.
Because we need to know that people do lose things.
Right. And we don't know what they're going through.
No, we don't.
And we need to be compassionate. We keep going back to compassionate. And we may not be able to walk in other people's shoes, but just to walk alongside of them.
That's right.
Through it. I think people mean well sometimes when they say, oh, like if a loved one dies, oh, you'll see them in heaven, or it's going to be fine. And we want to console people. We want to give them some words or something.
But that often takes time for that person who's grieving to feel that way.
Right.
Try to understand them when it's just too soon for them to look down the road. They need comfort. They need hugs. They need love.
Right. And everybody grieves in different ways with different timelines. And, you know, they talk about the cycles of grief. That's why I love this book. There's no cycles. There's different patterns and things that emerged. And one of my favorite messages and what I learned through my loss, through my divorce, because that was so difficult, because what you learn, for example, with divorce is it's not only the loss of a marriage, it's the loss of a family unit.
Yeah.
It's the loss of a dream of happily ever after.
Yeah.
The loss of future family memory. I mean, you could go on. And so this idea of loss is that it can be layered.
Yes, it
and
can.
it can affect you in different ways that you would not even think about. And but one of the things that I learned about myself through loss, and there's a lot of lessons you can learn through loss too about yourself, is that I tend to stuff things. I tend to kind of move along, you know, like your friend said, okay, just pick up, you know, and let's keep going. You're fine.
Snap out of it.
And so, and I think I know a lot of people who do this. They don't deal with their loss. So they bury it. And guess what? It's down there. And it comes up.
It comes up.
It comes up. It's only a matter of time. And let me tell you, when it comes up, it's not pretty.
No.
I can personally tell you that it's not pretty. And so one of the things that was really profound for me that I learned in this book is when I was a chaplain. So in seminary, I did a year in a hospital as a chaplain.
I remember that.
And I'll never forget reading this book. I don't know why. I was just reading it, and I brought it one night, and I got to the second chapter. And guess what it's called? It's called Feeling Pain. Feeling the pain. And the whole idea is allowing yourself to feel the pain of that loss. And I read that chapter, and I just remember bawling, and I was at the hospital. I was the only one on call that night, and so I was very grateful that I didn't get called into a room with somebody dying. Or I mean, I don't know how I could have given any encouragement because I was such a mess. But it just hit me then. Yeah. And it was a moment where I gave myself permission to feel the pain of that loss and to really grieve it and to kind of let it go. And a lot of other things I realized let go with it. My anger at my ex. Yes. I think with divorce, there's, you know, usually some anger and maybe some situations that are not so great after a divorce when you're dealing with your former spouse. And, you know, a lot of it kind of came out as I felt the pain, and I was able to release all of that and move forward. Right. But that was not my initial natural reaction. No. Because I think society tells us, well, you can do it. You be strong. Yeah. Be strong, especially if you're a man. Be strong. Right. And hold it in and just move along. And, you know, that's not helpful. We need to give ourselves permission to feel the loss. I just, you know, even now watching these clips of these people losing everything in these fires. Yes. Oh. And how terrible it must be just to come back and just see nothing. Yeah. Like, where do you even begin with that? I know. And that's a traumatic experience.
Well, we are going through a hard time. And the best thing we can do for people, not only the ones that we see on television, that for everyone we meet, is just try to understand, try to give them a little comfort, a little friendship, right? Whatever.
Just walk alongside.
Try to be a friend. And it's easy to say because it's hard with some people to get that close.
Right. Well, we can't physically. You said something about hugging earlier. We're not supposed to hug.
No, we can't hug.
But you can show people that you care and that you're present and that you're noticing, because also we're very sheltered.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, look at this. We have beautiful weather. We're completely unaffected by all of these natural disasters. Yeah. The only way we've been affected is we actually, ironically, we're having more beautiful sunsets. Yeah. And it actually makes me sad when I see these incredible red, orange sunsets, because I'm like, the reason they're so beautiful is because of the fires. Yeah. And so we need to just recognize that there are a lot of people suffering right now, and to be praying for them. We just need to
We
be
are.
fervently praying.
Yes.
And just walking alongside. I know I keep referring to this book. He talks about companions along the journey. And I
That's
love
good.
that thought
Yeah.
of just somebody, a companion.
Yeah.
A companion is someone who's just going to come and sit right
Yeah.
next to you and just sit there and listen.
Yeah.
And that ministry of presence and just being presence cannot be underestimated. And, I think that's why dogs, and cats, our pets are so incredible companions.
Yes.
Because they don't talk. Well, Toto barks.
They don't judge you.
They're just
They
present.
don't see you any differently.
That's why God
and
made them.
Lick you all over.
Right.
And
they
you
just
know
love
that they
on
love you.
So we need to be like our dogs.
Yeah.
We need to be like Toto.
I know. See?
Well, Jesus too, but Toto too.
He loves
and
you
Toto
unconditionally.
So
we've got to try that with each other.
Exactly.
And not judge.
Right.
It's hard sometimes.
Right.
It is. We're human beings. We're not perfect. But we have to think about it, especially at this time when people are hurting and lonely.
Right.
And as Julie said, as the princess said, they've lost so much.
So much.
Yeah.
And I just can't even imagine. And I think what you said, don't judge, and also don't try to fix.
No.
I'm a fixer.
I
want to just fix everything.
Yeah.
Everything's going to be fine. We kind of just want to be like, okay, what can we do to help?
Yes.
I just want to show up and kind of, clean everything up and do something.
Do something.
And
be active.
In many situations, you can't do anything.
No.
Just being present.
It takes
in a time of loss. And I've told this story before. My best friend Beth, growing up, when Dad died, I don't remember a thing she said. I just remember that she showed up and she
showed up
in the back of the room, and I just knew she was there.
Yeah.
Just knowing somebody's there to walk with you through these difficult times, to uplift you, sometimes to carry you.
Yeah.
I love the story about in the Bible where the paralytic man, where he could not make it to Jesus. So the friends put him on a stretcher, and it was so crowded, they couldn't get through the door. So they climbed up on the top of the house and cut a hole in the roof.
And lowered him down.
And those are roof-wrecking friends.
Yeah.
And I love that expression. And I want to be that friend. And I have friends like that.
See? They didn't give up.
And
they didn't say, I can't do it.
They were there during the loss of this man's health. Because a lot of, as we get to other seasons in life, health isn't a huge issue.
It is.
And especially now with COVID, we had one of our dear brothers in Christ in our singles group. His name is Angel. He was on the ventilator 10 days. And so we've been trying to bring him meals. He has no family here. He's single. So imagine that. And he's been isolated in recovery. So we saw him for the first time at our outdoor concert on Sunday. That's why I didn't do my Bible study, because we wanted to get this last kind of outdoor event in.
Yeah.
And sure enough, he showed up, and it was so wonderful to see him. But he had not been out, and he, in fact, was wiped out just walking from his car to the seat. I said, here's your seat. And he goes, can I sit down? I said, yes, sit down. And he just needed to rest. But I mean, the health struggles and how this pandemic is affecting people is just unbelievable. And again, we're sheltered from it, but to see it face to face with one of my friends was very eye-opening. And just to recognize there are a lot of people struggling with loss of jobs, loss of health, loss of homes.
That's right.
I mean, loss of loved ones. The list goes on and on and on. And so we just want to recognize that this is a season of loss. It's
a real
okay
challenge
to grieve.
for us. But we can meet that challenge because we have God with us.
That's right.
And we're not alone.
That's right.
I mean, physically we might be, but we're never alone.
You're absolutely right, Mom. And God is walking with us.
Getting up in the morning, I know He's with me.
Yeah.
And so every day's a good day. And it's remarkable the change it's made in my own life.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And God is walking with us. And, you may feel alone. but you're never
alone.
You may be on your own, but you're never alone.
Never
and I always say
alone.
that as a single person.
Yes.
I'm on my own, but I'm never alone.
No.
Because God is walking with us through these struggles.
Yes.
And it's so difficult. But God never promised that life would be easy.
No,
He just said
it's
He
not.
would be with us.
Yes.
And so we want to be with our loved ones and be there for you.
Yeah.
And we're hoping each week to bring you, a little message of positivity and maybe comfort. And
so, as I said, we're not perfect, but we're a work in progress, and we're trying.
That's right. We're in process, making progress.
Making progress. I forgot that part.
Right.
But anyway, we'll see you next week with another word.
We will be back next
and
Tuesday.
We will return.
We will return.
We
and
look
it looks
forward
like
to
we're
this.
ending the lesson, of course, because
Yes,
she's already got the wave.
We
but
are.
we want you to know that we're going to be praying for you. We're already praying for all those affected by the fires, by the hurricanes, by the social unrest. We're just going to keep praying. And we're also praying that if you are experiencing loss, real loss in your life right now, that you have some companions to walk through it. And this is the time to lean on your friends and to lean on your loved ones to help you to work through it, to live through it, because, we hope you can feel the pain and go through this process of grieving so that you can move forward.
And call someone. I've seen on the internet where there are places to call to actually talk with another person.
Right.
Don't just leave yourself without anything.
Right. And get connected. Connect through our church. We've got so many incredible friends. There's lots of ways to connect.
Yeah.
But it's just a really tough time, and we wanted to take this time on the porch to recognize that and just to say we're with you. We're not physically with you, but we're with you in spirit, and we're with you in prayer, and we will be back.
We will be back.
Have a good week.
Have a good week.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.